Hey guys, let's talk about the truck industry now. Let's see, can you make a lot of money doing this? You can. Absolutely. Can this offer you freedom outside four walls, and you have the country is your landscape, right? The country's your office. Yeah, that's true. But what is it going to cost? You'll have all these companies tell you that we'll put you through CDL school. All you have to do is drive for us for a year. We'll offer you X amount per mile. We'll offer you X percentage of line haul. What are you willing to pay for that? What are you willing to give up for that? Because it's going to cost you in both of those ways in many aspects. And let's get into that. Let's get into the ugly side of this industry. Let's talk about the things that no one wants to talk about. Let's talk about the things that you'll find out the hard way if you don't know coming into this what it actually does take to make it out here. Let's talk about the first thing. Let's say you're looking to sign up. You're gonna jump on. I want to get my CDL and I want to drive over the road. Okay, this is mainly geared towards the over the road aspect of everything. Okay, so you're going to sign on for a company. We'll pay for your school and you have to drive for us for a year. That's easy. Sign this contract. Yeah. Okay, that company now is in charge of your revenue for the next year. They can do whatever they want with it. You say, well, no, I mean, if I'm always available and I'll drive as hard as I can. It's not up to you. It's up to your dispatcher. And what incentive do they have to keep you moving? They get paid by the hour. They go home every night and they're done every weekend. They're not paid percentage. It's not based on how hard you run. Their goal isn't to make you as many miles as possible so that you can get paid. The goal of this entire industry as a whole is to keep you here at all costs. You don't make money when you're home. You don't generate money when you're home for a company or yourself. Going home is an expense. And even when you are home, your brain never switches off. You'll get to the point to where you can't turn off. You're always on go. You're always looking to make the most. What's the next move? Where do I have to go next? Or now that I am home, I can't enjoy being home because now I'm already thinking about what's next. What's next? What's going on next week? When do I have to leave? When do I have to pick up? Your last day home you can't even enjoy because typically you have to go to bed so early to wake up and start your day the next day. That day is dead. Home time becomes irrelevant at a point. You can't enjoy it. You don't want to go anywhere because the last thing you want to do is be in a vehicle. You don't want to drive. You don't want to be a passenger. You don't want to do anything. All you want to do is just not be working because that's what you are here. You can make a lot of money in a day, but when you factor in how many hours are actually involved, and I'm not just talking about driving, I'm talking about when you're done driving. What do? You climb in the back and you hang out. You're still at work. You're not home. You're hundreds or thousands of miles away. You work, can you make good money here? Of course, but when you break that down into 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, break that down into hourly, I mean, you can make good money. It's not going to happen all the time, though. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have things that you can't control, and that's another aspect of it. You're never prepared enough for this, and you're never in as much control as you think you might be. Case in point, these are some of the things that you can face being out here in this industry. Bankruptcy, divorce, you'll lose friends, you'll lose relationships. If you have children, you're now a visitor. You're no longer a father or a mother. You're no longer a husband or a wife. You're a visitor. And the stress of a day-to-day operation like this takes over. And it is almost impossible to turn that off. When you're in the middle of trying to book loads all day long and you're driving, you're worried about this, that, or the other. There's all kinds of things that will affect your day. The load that you're on, picking it up, executing it, delivering, there's time frames there, and there's all kinds of things that affect those time frames. The weather, road conditions, wrecks, all these are out of your control. There's nothing you can do about it. You have to adapt and adjust, and all that does is that adds the stress to you all the time. So that whenever during the day, when you are operating and your loved one or a friend does call you, it's now an inconvenience because the things that you need to be handling, you can't handle because you had to stop what you were doing because you don't want to ignore your wife or your husband. You don't want to ignore your friends, but you really don't have time to talk because you are busy. You are any waking moment, you're busy. And when you're not busy, you're sleeping. Those are the only two things you honestly have time to do out here: work and sleep, and that is it. And the longer you stay out here, the more dull you become, the more some of that happiness slips away, because this job isn't happy. Okay, it's just stress, and all you do is you get used to it and you get numb to the things that you enjoy, because they start to become the very, very least things you do day to day. And the longer you're out here, the lower those get. It's all about, how can I do better? How can I make more? I want to get out of this. You know, I put together this whole big plan. You can't execute that plan. You want to, but there's so many things that will happen in a week, in a month, in a year. You can have all the projection you want to, but you're not in control as much as you wish you were. There's a ton of things that are easy to represent that. Look at fuel prices. The fuel, I'm looking at a sign right here in front of me. Fuel right here, right now, $2.59 per gallon. What will that be tomorrow? What will that be next week? I would like it to go down, but I'm not in control of that. Whichever way it goes, I have to just adjust to it and move on. That's the same thing with rates. That's the same thing with areas that you're in. You can't control these things. You can try to plan for them, but if you don't know what's going to happen, you can only plan ahead so far. But yeah, you will, if you're in this long enough, you will lose relationships. Especially if you're with someone that does not support what you're doing or understand what you're doing. But a lot of times they won't be able to understand what you're doing if they haven't done it. There's no way they can. You can't expect them to. As much as you wish that they would, you cannot make that a thing. Now, there are some exceptions to that. I'll give you that. But I'm talking normal situation. You know, that's why you see a lot of the guys that are out here, you know, they're divorced multiple times. They're super miserable. They have no one left to go home to. And that is who this industry is perfect for. And if you come into this industry and you want to make a lifelong career out of it, 9 times out of 10, that is exactly what you will become. Because this industry will take you over. There's a lot of things that people say, like, oh, you get to see the whole country. You get to go to different beautiful places. And yeah, it's like I'm in Salt Lake right now. It is beautiful here. There's mountains behind me. The salt flats are in front of me. But what you can't see on a video is that when I open my door, it's getting hot now. Okay, the parking lot is covered in piss and smells exactly like it. There's a nice grassy area behind me that I could go take a walk around to just enjoy myself or take my mind off of something, but you can't walk back there. All these people that have their dogs out here take them back there. And if you think they pick up their dog poop in plastic bags, think again. If there's poop back there in plastic bags, it ain't from a dog. Trust me. And like I said, you get used to this. This becomes your normal. You're living in parking lots while you're sending your money home to pay for things that you can't enjoy. It takes a toll on you mentally. And as prepared as you wish you were, there's going to be times to where that is going to consume you. You have got to know that this is more or less an industry that you jump into, you knock it out as hard as you possibly can for a while, and you need to have an exit plan or you will get trapped. Because you're going to be like, oh, well, now I'm a company. Now I want to be an owner-operator. Well, how do you be an owner-operator? Well, you're not making enough as a company driver to jump into an owner-operator, so let's do a lease purchase. I've done that too. Those are not designed for you to succeed. There's not much out here that is designed for you to succeed. Okay, it's always in the company's best interest. So then you'll jump on as, well, I want to be an owner-operator now. I'll be able to control everything that I want to do. Yeah, you will be able to control most of what you do, but that comes at a massive expense. Now you've got overhead. Now you've got payments that are due every single week, every single month, all year long. And now that's on you. These payments do not care if there's a pandemic. They don't care if you broke down 5 times that week and couldn't run. You know, now that week you can go ahead and count. If you didn't run anything, you didn't generate revenue, but if you were broke down, you're also spending money. So you're in reverse now. Now you've got to make that week up. But after a week of doing that, what does anybody want to do? I just want to go home now. You know, this week beat me up. I'm just going to go home and restart. That is the worst thing you could do. The worst thing you can almost ever do is go home. Because when you're home, you want to stay home. You don't want to come back out. But then you have to. All the bankroll you get built up, you eventually end up dwindling down because you thought you had enough Yeah, I want to take a break. I need a break. I'm getting burnt out, this, that, or the other. And you just come back down to zero. And it's just a never-ending cycle that you almost can never break. It is easy to get trapped. And know this coming in. This isn't anything to scare anybody away from this industry. Of course, this industry does need the people that it has in it. But you can't come into this thinking this is some get-rich-quick plan, because it absolutely is not. It will cost you everything. Because like I said, your friendships will fade. You're no longer there. Yeah, they'll talk to you on the phone all you want to, but even that will start to diminish, because people forget you. You're a visitor now. You're not home. Your social life, you've given up. You are a machine in this industry, and that is all you are. If you have to have the mindset to get in this, make the most you can above it, learn what you can about it, and try to get out. If you want to stay in this industry, do something besides drive over the road. That could be get a local job. If it pays good enough for you, good. That usually doesn't happen though. You have to live in a place that has the demand for you to be able to drive locally, be home every night, and it still pay a decent wage. Because you will get used to making this much money. And don't make the mistake of capping out what you've done over the last 6 months. It's like, well, I can make X amount in 3 months. Well, 3 months from now, you could be making half that. But if you take all your expenses, and now see, you're trapped even worse, because now you cannot stop. So just know, coming into this, you run the risk of losing your relationships, your friendships, your freedom, your control, your grasp on life. Like I said, it's so easy to get stuck in this. And guys, there's no worse feeling than feeling trapped in this industry, especially as unforgiving as it is. It does not care how you feel. It doesn't care what you want. All it cares about is continuing moving forward. And you can either be part of that, or you cannot be part of that. It does not care. It doesn't mind taking away everything from you and leaving you with nothing, because someone will come in next week and be there in your spot. It absolutely does not care. You have to know this coming in. You make the best of it, get out.